Our bronze matchup. We have a spawning in the top right corner from CT6. It is the Terran player in orange, Prophecy. Throwing out the GLHFs all around. And spawning in the lower left position as the green Zerg player from Team Kessel. It is Sorn. Prophecy with the early morale boost to himself. CT6 fighting. So what do you think, Maris, as a Terran player yourself, what will we see in this Terran versus Zerg matchup?
Well, Neil Planet asks, well, first, as sort of a disclaimer, this is a bronze matchup, so they're going to do whatever they want. And regardless of whether that's going to be good on the map, bad on the map, good macro, bad macro, they're basically just going for it. Not to discredit them, bronze games are extremely entertaining and very valuable to Chobo Team League as a whole, and really cool to see how much these bronze guys improve throughout the year. But honestly, anything or everything that we could conjecture may or may not happen.
And as we're seeing already, Prophecy with the very early scout has not started a barrack. Oh, there goes the barracks. Okay, so I was hoping for some proxy shenanigans, but no. He is indeed starting his...
Yeah, and that's a little bit late. I mean, it was a 13 barracks, which means that he could, I guess, theoretically delay his orbital one more SCV and just kind of accelerate his macros, sort of.
And so Sorn taking the Overlord channel of I don't want to be snuck up on with drops, not using an Overlord to scout, hasn't sent a drone scout out at all. He's just waiting for his... just waiting. We'll have to see if... Oh, Christ, why am I yawning so much today? I got plenty of sleep. Other than waking up at 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Sorn does have a gas. He threw gas down before his spawning pool, so probably going to see some sort of speedling pressure. No hatchery down yet for Sorn as well, so looks like he's content to play on one base for now. Going for a second gas as well as an evolution chamber, so possibly going to try for some upgraded speedlings to start out this fight.
Hopefully not thinking back to Wings of Liberty and getting that so he can make spore crawlers. Oh, there he does go for an expansion. Just kind of an interesting build.
And we do have the orbital as well as a second barracks down for Prophecy. And this game is starting out just like any other Bronze League game would.
And Prophecy's had his gas for a while and actually hasn't spent anything involving gas yet. So he's kind of storing that up. We might see him try to tech up to Banshees perhaps, or something like that. Or just throw down a command center and make me look stupid, but...
And we do have a lone marine sitting poking away at this hatchery. It's now going to take a walk up the ramp, see what it can find. But 4 Zerglings run right by the marine, so this marine has a chance of getting a drone kill. No, it gets stopped, does not get any kills, did some damage to the hatchery, but that's about it. Let's wait and see how long it takes this queen to do an inject. About 10 seconds, not very long at all. Pretty good job. Bunker going up in a very nice location for Prophecy. I'd like to see it tucked back a little bit in behind and blow up those destructible debris, but that's just me. Second gas for Prophecy, as well as the factory going down. Sorn, on the other hand, has he started using gas? Yes, he is going for the level 1 melee upgrades as well as speed upgrade for Zerglings and a very fast layer.
He actually had his layer started about 10 seconds earlier and then canceled it and restarted it.
So we're going to have to see if he's trying maybe some 2-base muta play, but that doesn't really make sense on why you would upgrade your Zerglings so much if you're going for quick 2-base muta. And he doesn't even have any drones on the... no drones on the natural. His main isn't saturated, even saturated to the point of diminishing returns, hasn't reached that yet. That's at 16 for any of you bronzies looking. Once you get more than 2 workers on a mineral patch, it is a little bit of diminishing returns per worker. And Sorn actually doing really well, keeping the energy on his queen low. There's no larva being spawned right now because he just threw down a creep tumor, so let's see if he spreads that out any. And an infestation pick coming down for Sorn. We're going to have to see if that's for maybe a quick hive into Ultralisks, or maybe he's going to go for some Swarm Host play, which would be very interesting. Swarm Host is one of the most cost-effective units in the Zerg army nowadays, if played appropriately.
And now Prophecy's finally moving down his orbital command. He's had that done for a little bit.
And Sorn going to go in for the attack, going to take out all these Marines, but he's going to lose. No, the Widowmine does not get the shot off. Prophecy able to hold the attack very well. Sorn didn't really get any scouting information there, just pretty much lost some Zerglings for a couple Marines. Not necessarily the greatest trade. They're roughly even in resources lost. Sorn is a little bit behind in that. Prophecy with a big move, changing some of his workers from his main to his natural, just splitting them up. And Sorn now finally starting to get some workers on his natural, splits them up. 15 on the main, on the natural, 11 on the main. A little interesting. And Carapace upgrade level 1, and on the other side of the production tab for Prophecy, a reactor, 2 supply depots, a barracks, a little bit of everything going down.
And we see he's even started throwing down a couple of missile turrets. He has literally no scouting information, so this is all part of his build.
What player would not be scared of Mutas? And the Roach...
Well, if you scan and you see that your opponent has an infestation pit and a Roach Warren and those sort of things, you don't need to worry about Mutalisks at that point.
That is true. Evolution chamber, a second evolution chamber now down. Sorn stockpiling a lot of gas. He's up to 700. Prophecy keeping his gas low. Going into a third command center, building it in his main. So we're going to have to see what's going on, what Prophecy is planning on doing. He is fairly safe as he goes with 1 Marine scouting around to proxy locations just to see if his Zerg opponent has any sort of what do you call it?
Third base?
Thank you. Any kind of hatchery or base. Speed Roaches, Burrow, ranged level 1. The Hive just now finishing. This is a very, very fast Hive. I want to see the Ultralisk Cavern go down. That's what I want to see right now. Why would you get Hive this, or what else are you going to do Hive? There's 2 things, Broodlords or Ultralisks, right? Because I highly doubt we'll see Vipers, and we don't have a Spire down yet for Sorn, so my thought would be Ultralisk, but
There's the Crackling upgrade is the first thing he gets with the Hive.
He's still only on 2 gases. Well, the Crackling upgrade is ridiculous.
It's a great upgrade. A lot of players seem to skimp on that upgrade. It's good to see our Bronzy Sorn realizing the value of the Crackling upgrade.
And Sorn gonna lose an Overlord to a Viking, which is now being pushed aside by a Queen. How is Sorn doing on his larva? 15 larva right now with 700 minerals. He needs to spend some of that larva, unless he's saving it for something. But what is he saving it for? Arguably right now he's planning on a Roachling attack, seeing as though he's getting his Crackling upgrade. He has Carapace level 2, melee level 1, range level 1 done. His Roaches have speed Roaches. Now the other thing I'm confused at for Sorn right now is he got speed Roaches and he got Burrow. You would think if you're going Burrow, you're more likely to do tunneling claws on your Roaches, so that they can do the burrowed movement, which arguably wouldn't help too much with the missile turrets all around for Prophecy, who's playing extremely safe right now. Even has a third base.
And look at his missile turret ring, too. I mean, this is something that would potentially just destroy Mutalisks. It's not really helping him in this scenario, but he's doing some really good Terran-y things. Sorn's doing some very good Zerg things. And look at how on top of his upgrade Sorn has been. He's already up to 2-2, and
now Sorn getting pneumatized Carapace to have his overlords move faster. So is he going into drop play? I have no clue.
I think he's just researching upgrades for the sake of having them.
And let's check the army value right now. We actually have a fairly even army. Prophecy definitely in the lead with the armies by about 1,000 minerals and about 500 Vespine, as well as by about 21 units. So right now, Sorn's army not very strong, especially as a Zerg. You want to have a higher arm. Not necessarily a higher army, but you have to assume your army is probably going to die, and it's your follow-up army that's going to do the damage. And we do have a move out by Prophecy coming right now, it looks like.
He's actually left 2 of his siege tanks at home. So rather than this being a really scary 3-tank move out, it's now a slightly less scary 1-tank move out. But if you position these well... Oh, there's a second one rallying in. But if you position your 2 siege tanks well, you can cover a lot of area with them, and it's pretty devastating, especially against somebody who's just on roaches and lings.
But this army itself, too, is just a very scary army from Prophecy. Don't know what you're going to see. I don't know if Sorn is able to handle this army with his just Ling and Roach combination, especially if Prophecy stims up his units here, which he does, takes down the Zerglings, no problem. The tanks are sieged in the back, firing away at these Roaches, but the Roaches able to come in. I think the superior upgrades really won the day. These 2-2 Roaches just taking down these 1-1 Marines, and Sorn on the aggression now, pushing away.
The sheer surface area that the Lings were able to attack. They got that full surround on all of the bio units. Imagine if you'd had 1 or 2 Banelings in there. That was just game-ending for Sorn in that case. But
now Sorn trying to push in 3 tanks well spread out. Sorn pushing in, trying to take down the tank. Will he get a second? Does get the second one. Burrows, dances the burrow, scanned under the burrow, and now finally does get away with 1 Roach. He does have a lot of speedlings coming around the other side, but looks like he's just going to turn around with them. And now this is where Prophecy's third base is really going to kick in. Look at the income, 1,000 minerals for Prophecy versus 800 for Sorn. So he'll be able to, as long as he has production, which he is building an additional 3 barracks right now, so Prophecy will be able to build new units much quicker.
Sorn does have a Viper on the field, actually.
Does he?
A single Viper up in the main.
And it is sucking the life from the hatchery. We're going to have to see what this Viper can do. If the Viper will get taken down by the Vikings fairly quickly, but if he can throw down a Binding Cloud, it can change the face of any battle, because
and if he can get a Blinding Cloud and an Abduct on a siege tank or something really valuable like that, that could be just gigantic for Sorn.
Prophecy moving in on the third base here. Is he going to be able to take it down? He does the big stim. The Lings come in, going to surround the Marines pretty well here. The Vikings not able to really do much of anything. And it looks like the Lings will be able to clean it up here. No, maybe no. The backing, the Marines that come in from the rear, able to hold, probably going to take down this third base. And this is not a good position to be in for Sorn. He's already lower on income than his Terran opponent. And losing that base just hurts his ability to produce larvae and, have a third mining base. Now he's fully behind 3 bases to 2. And Prophecy looks like he wants to keep the pressure up, keep on pushing in.
Now this is the Viper's time to shine.
Let's see does a Binding Cloud get off? Yes, a Binding Cloud does get off, but there's just too few units here for Sorn. I'd expect this. Sorn just leaves. So that's it. That is game number 1. Prophecy takes the first victory for Team 6 for CTL Team 6. And we are going to be going into our next matchup as soon as it is loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Corn Muscles Casting. With me today is Meristematic. We will be right back after we load the next replay for our first